Okay, hey Starlene, working Louie today, and let's see, probably set it about like that. So I've done kind of all of what I call my pre-flight checklist. So basically what I did is walk, trot, loped him both directions, brought him back down from a lope to a trot, and from a trot to a walk, and a walk to a stop. Make sure all of that worked really well. He doesn't seem to have a bunch of anxiety through it. There were a couple little, hi bud, hi. There were a couple little places where, oh, I'm gonna take this halter off real quick. There were a couple little places where, you know, he kind of blew up just a little bit, but like very, very small stuff. Not really anything I'm worried about. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on him, and I'm gonna do what I do as a first ride on every horse. Treat them like a colt, right? Until they prove themselves otherwise. So I do what I call destination addiction work, and basically what it consists of is, probably today I'm only going to do this at the walk, so I'll just ask him to, well, first I'm going to do my lateral flexion and disengaging, right? If that works well, then I'll ask him to walk off, and I'm just going to see where he wants to be. Now, he'll probably want to be right here at the gate, right? Because the door's right there. Most likely, he'll just want to be right here at the gate, which is fine. I'm not going to take him where he doesn't want to be. But what I will start to do is I'm not going to let him stop and stand here at the gate. I'll actually add a little bit of pressure, meaning just wave my legs at him, not kicking hard or anything, just making it a little bit more uncomfortable here than out there. And anytime he's away from where he wants to be, then I just kind of relax my legs a little bit. So I better take this up on the other side a little bit. It's kind of getting jammed up on this side. Give me just a second. I'm gonna have to let that all the way down. So, Starlene, I was gonna text you, but since I got this time, I'll go and just talk to you about it in the video. So, you know, I know you wanted to leave this horse with me for 30 days, and I think that's just about up. And so if you want to take him home, of course, it's totally fine. Your horse, you can do whatever you want. But, you know, I kind of wanted to just give you what my thoughts are on where he's at. You know, he is so much calmer on the ground and just generally, even on his back when I've been riding him bareback, than he was when he got here. So I think we've made a lot of progress. And I think your average rider would just jump on him and ride and have a great time, you know. I'm not your average rider. I always tell clients I'm the wimpiest rider you'll ever see, which is a good thing in my opinion, because if I'm confident riding the horse, my clients should be extremely confident riding the horse. So I kind of like to be a little bit wussy in my riding. And so you've seen from the videos, I've gone extremely slowly with this horse, and you know, I'm riding bareback, but I'm not trotting around here, and I haven't ridden him under saddle really yet. And I rode him that one day under saddle, but didn't do a lot with him. For two reasons. First off, I don't want to get hurt. And second, I don't want him to have any more bad experiences than he's already had in his life. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And so I guess my point is, if you want to take him home, I think we've made a lot of progress for 30 days. I'm really happy with where we are. I think for you to have what I know you're looking for, which is a real solid broke, maybe not kid horse, but solid broke for an experienced rider kind of horse that, you know, you can take on trails and you can kind of do anything with. He's not quite there in my opinion for me as a rider. Now some riders would just get on him and go, and more power to him. He has a lot of mental capabilities now. Like even right here, he just lowered his head a bunch and went to licking and chewing. Never would have done that when he first got here. So he has a ton of mental tools to use to relax himself. And so if a rider was confident and just took him out on a trail ride, he would probably have a lot of tools to mentally relax, but you may also have some issues too. So, hi. Anyway, wanted to give you a realistic appraisal of where he's at. And if you want to take him back after 30 days, great. Like I said, you're getting a better horse than you brought me. If you want to wait and make him into a much more dead broke, ready to go out and do anything with any rider kind of horse, he needs at least a few more months, and I can't say exactly, probably more than a few months for that. And if what you're wanting is, to be able to do versatility, well, there's a lot of skills that go into versatility that we haven't really even begun to work on. Stops, spins, cow turns, loping nice circles, lead changes, obviously. That kind of stuff's going to take, probably a year of training, like a typical horse. So anyway, wanted to give you a realistic expectations of where we're at and what you're getting if you take him home. Good boy. And this is the first time I have sat on him in the saddle. Of course, I've sat on him bareback, and he did pretty good. Hi. I love that he's engaging with me and kind of sniffing everything. Very good. Now I'm just going to ask for my lateral flexion both directions. Good. Kind of a nose that I'm on this side. He puts his head way down and licks and chews. I love it. Very good. Good boy. And this is where I love to have these horses. I don't know if you can see with the camera, but his head is at or below, I would say it's an inch or two below wither height, and he's just standing here chilling, waiting for his next instruction. Stretching out his head and neck big time. Big shake off right there. Big old lick and a chew. I mean, that's just awesome. And, a lot of people at that point would be like, yay, we're ready to go ride. I'm actually going to jump off him and give him a big release right there to tell him that's exactly what I want. Every time I get on you, just stretch out your head and neck, put your head down, and just relax, just like that right there. And you can see when I got off, there was still some tension in there because he kind of jumped when I got off. He wasn't expecting that. And so that's actually good. I want him aware of anything that's going to happen up there. Hey. So I might just get on and off a couple times, maybe on both sides. Maybe kind of flop around a little bit like I was doing without the saddle, bareback. And like I said, if I don't get to that whole destination addiction thing today, it's totally fine. I am in no rush with any horse. I want to go at the horse's speed, and horses don't have clocks. So 23 hours out of the day, they pretty much stand in the pen doing absolutely nothing. So there's no point in rushing them because that's not how they work. It's like my, good. Now he heard that big whinny out there. He wanted to look at it, but he knew I was doing lateral flexion, so he went ahead and gave me the lateral flexion. That's big because if he was doing something silly, running around, and I asked for that lateral flexion, that tells me that he's probably going to give it to me over the other things he's thinking about doing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get off on this right side, which might be a bit of an issue. Told you. So I'm going to work this a little bit. He wasn't expecting that. Good. Now I might just wait for him to relax again. And I don't mind that he has these little blow-up moments, I call them. It's not a huge blow-up, but if he's moving his feet and I didn't ask for it, that's a blow up, What I love about it is when he does something like that, he's coming back to me very, very quickly, right? He's not continuing in that train of thought of, oh my gosh, I got to run away. He has that quick, oh my gosh, and then it's, oh, there's no reason to run away. I know what this is. Good. So I might just do some lateral flexion. Oh, he's just about to put his head and neck down. Good boy. Might ask him to come this way. He's a little stiff there. So that tells me one thing I need to work on with him is lateral flexion going back and forth between the two directions. Because I think he gets locked into one side and he's all loose on this side. And then, but when he goes to the other side, he's like, oh gosh, I have to go to this side. Oh gosh, I have to go here. So I need to get him loosened up to both sides. Also, I think when I'm in the saddle, he kind of is figured out how to be okay with it, probably from his previous training. People just got in the saddle and then went and did stuff. But that transition between the ground and the saddle, he's a little, because every time I've jumped off and I've just plop landed on the ground, he kind of moves a little bit. So that tells me some places I need to work on. You see, every time that transition from the ground to the saddle, his head and neck's up a little bit. He's like, oh my gosh. And then after a little bit, he relaxes, so which is great. It's fantastic. But I would love for that transition for him to be like, whatever, you're getting on my back. No big deal. Like I said before, I build, I mean, at least I feel like I do. I mean, I'm not trying to brag on myself, but my program, the intent of it is to build a massive foundation, a foundation that you could build a skyscraper on, right? And a lot of people ride horses that are the equivalent of a mud hut. You don't need a whole lot of foundation to hold up a mud hut, right? So a lot of people don't put a very big foundation on their horse. And if you try to take that horse with not much foundation and do something cool with it, good boy. I'm gonna get off because he relaxed right there. If you try to build a skyscraper on a foundation that was intended for a mud hut, you're not gonna have much success. But if you try to build a mud hut on a foundation that was built for a skyscraper, well, you're gonna have a freaking awesome mud hut, but you know, you probably spent a little more than you needed to have the foundation built. So, you know, that's kind of where I feel like we are. Ladies buying silo, taking off. You know, I build skyscraper foundations. That's what I do. And so it's just up to you, you know, how much, because it's not cheap, you know, and I get that. So, good boy. I love that he's starting to be much more aware. Nice. Look at that. Oh, okay. All right, let me go talk to the chiropractor real quick, and I will continue this later. See, he jumped at the chiro over there.